Hello everyone and welcome. Today we're talking about lifestyle inflation and why for the most part you should avoid it. First, let's define what lifestyle inflation is. Lifestyle inflation is when you live within a certain income level and then you get a pay raise and your lifestyle inflates to match that pay raise. Now, before I go ahead and totally dismiss lifestyle inflation, there are certain circumstances that totally allow for this that are okay. Many of those are defined by real needs, not just simply wants. A need would be a growing family. Say you just had a baby, there's a need now to spend more money. You can identify for yourself what is a need versus a want in determining, is my increase in spending justified or is it just your typical lifestyle inflation? Also, if you're entirely debt-free and you've achieved many of your financial goals, then spending more money is typically totally okay because you have the money to spend. Now, when should you avoid a lifestyle inflation? Typically, if you get a pay raise but there's no other change in your life, there's no significant increase in your cost of living, then try to avoid that lifestyle inflation. If you're meeting your needs and paying all your bills just fine before, try taking some of that excess money and allocating it towards a goal, rather than just letting it get spent in your everyday living. Now, that's all good in theory to identify needs versus wants and seeing, should I spend more money or should I not spend more money? But the reality is, if you get an increase in pay, it's going to be extremely likely that you start spending more. So what is a real life example of this taking place? Well, personally, I got a significant pay raise. My pay raise translated to about a 35% increase in my income, and that's before bonuses are paid out from my company. My wife and I determined that we are not going to spend any of this extra money on anything other than a dedicated goal. We have a goal to pay off all of our debt, then save for a house, then eventually invest. Because we're still paying off debt, we decided to take every single extra dollar that I earn and dedicate it towards that goal. If you haven't done so already, go ahead and check out my $15,000 debt payoff strategy. That is a debt payoff strategy that I have for this year to pay off the last $15,000 on my wife's student loans in 8 months. Now, by identifying that I got a significant pay raise and I'm allocating all of those dollars towards that debt payoff strategy, I'm able to achieve that goal really fast. But that is only because we are currently living on the income that we've always lived on, even though our income increased significantly. Now, lifestyle inflation, if broken down, can be identified as being intentional with your money. Oftentimes, people are not very intentional with their money, and this is incredibly common. That's why someone who has a $50,000 income may feel like they're behind and trying to always play catch up with their bills and their debt and everything that's going on, yet someone making $150,000 is in that same boat and they have that same feeling because they're not being very intentional with their money. If my income increased and my spending just increases, you're never going to get away from that feeling that you're in control of your finances. And that is why it's best to avoid lifestyle inflation by taking control and being very intentional with the dollars that you are spending. I'm not saying to not spend the dollars. I'm saying identify goals that you should allocate those dollars towards and then attack those goals with that extra money. This will help you get ahead, get out of debt, achieve your goals, and then build financial independence. As I mentioned, my wife and I have a goal to pay off our debt, so we're pretending like I never even got that pay raise. It's not even in the budget to work with. I have budgeted all of those dollars towards our goal, so if you were to look at our budget today versus 6 months ago, it for the most part looks the same, other than one line item being our debt payoff strategy, which has increased significantly. But again, you review the rest of our budget and it is all the same. Even though I'm making significant more, we're pretending like it doesn't exist. And to be totally transparent with you, I'm trying to pay off $15,000 in the next 8 months. That was supposed to take 5 years to pay off. So we're taking 5 years worth of payments and summarizing that down to 8 months of payments using this as part of our strategy. So what can you do? You can, 1, create a goal. 2, take any extra that you have and set it aside towards that goal. And 3, don't try keeping up with the Joneses. No one cares what you drive. No one cares what house you live in. No one cares about any of that. So don't try to keep up with others and then spend way more than what you should. Set your own goals, create your own budget, and cross your own finish line. The reason why someone making $50,000 a year feels like they're in a pinch, and someone making $150,000 or say $250,000 a year also feels like they're in a pinch, because oftentimes they're comparing themselves to others around them. Because if I'm in a decent neighborhood and I look around, I may try being better than those around me. But then what if I upgrade and I get a higher income and I get into a nicer neighborhood? It's going to be harder and harder to keep up with, even making more money. It's a game you shouldn't play. Ideally, you should create a goal for yourself, set up a budget in order to accomplish that goal, and then 3, forget about keeping up with the Joneses and focus on crossing your own finish line. You may be watching this video and thinking, this all makes total sense, it's almost too obvious, but if you break it down into that structure, identifying needs versus wants, and really identifying where should I really increase my income, or are there other things I should be putting my money towards, aka being intentional with my paycheck, intentional with every dollar I earn, that helps create a structure in your mind so you can start accomplishing your financial goals. I hope this video has helped you in identifying areas that you can free up cash for yourself to identify and cross your own finish line for your own goals. And if you enjoyed this, I ask that you please like and subscribe.